Hello, hello to you all. Welcome to this last new moon of the astrological year. So it's the last, the last new moon, and of course the last zodiac sign of Pisces. So we have just to give you the details. So this new moon happens on the 20th of February at 7:05 Portuguese time. So this is the last new moon, so it's like we are in the end of the year. It's the same energy as December, basically, and the next cycle is going to be already in the new astrological year. So this is quite interesting. Well, everything is interesting in astrology for me, so apologies for this word. But we have this new moon in Pisces, in the very first degree of Pisces. We also have, of course, Neptune, which is there which has been there for a very long time now. Many years now. And we still have Venus on the very last seconds of its journey through Pisces. So in the hours after this not even hours, I think minutes maybe, after this new moon, Venus is going to switch to Aries. So it's very, very interesting, as we have two planets, one personal and another transpersonal, and its ruler in Pisces, and then we have the sun and the moon in the very first degree of Pisces. So this energy is very, very high. And so what's Pisces, and what are the topics that is bringing? Of course, Pisces is the last sign of water, of the water element. So speaks all about intuition, all about sensitiveness, all about love, all about unconditional love, despite our conditioned our human condition, despite of our human condition. But it speaks about this love that goes beyond the romantic love, or the son and parent kind of love. So it's beyond that. It's the love for life, it's the love for all beings. It's the ability to feel everything that the others are feeling, be it good or bad, or despite what I think about what others are feeling. But it's the ability to be empathetic to others. So the ability to put myself on other people's shoes and be happy for their happiness, even though I may not know the exact situation even though I may not have experienced in my life that same situation. So it's the ability to feel that happiness, or the ability to feel the pain and that others are going through as well. So this is Pisces, and it's of course it's the last degree of it's the last sign of the water element. So it also brings everything to a deeper level of unconsciousness. So it brings us to unconscious, and also the highest vibrations, depending on which one we can access. And of course we all can access all of them at all times. But of course it also speaks about spirituality, about this higher connection to something beyond me, to beyond my sight, beyond my ability to process or to understand. with my mind, with my rational mind. So it brings everything to this diluted perspective, and it has no boundaries. And what's interesting here is that, so we will have, we are very, very close from Saturn actually going into the sign of Pisces for good, for, of course, the next 3 years. And this new moon, of course, is still under the influence of Saturn, because Saturn is in the very last degrees of Aquarius, and the Sun and the Moon are in the very first degree. So they're still there. They have just been in contact with Saturn, and they are still under their influence. So despite Saturn is still in Aquarius, this new moon has already some tones of, may already show some tones of what Saturn in Pisces is going to bring us. And we have already experienced that for a few months last year. And in my perspective, of course, this is something that, well, I haven't been speaking about the 2023 review, astrological review publicly, but I've done it in a few small groups. And in my perspective, and of course in my individual sessions, but in my perspective, Saturn going into Pisces is can be very positive. Everything can be positive or not so positive, of course, but in my perspective, it can bring more than it takes. Which, well, by saying this, I'm just my understanding of Saturn and Pisces is that it's going to bring structure. It's going to bring to bring a concrete vessel to something that is completely diluted as water, as the waters of Pisces can be, and create a little bit more structure and a little bit more grounding, and yeah, give it a solid form, let's say. So everything that Pisces can mean, be it related to love, be it related to empathy, be it related to spirituality, be it related to dreams, to the ability to dream, it's going to bring us, of course, Saturn, the need to be responsible and to own those dreams and to own that spirituality that we claim or that we say. So it's like, how does that translate here in the third dimension, in my relationships to everyone? How does that show up? How is that coherent or not with what I'm saying and what I think it's me being spiritual, and how does that translate into reality? So in my perspective, this can be very, very, very positive, as we have seen in the past years, an exponential growth of people reaching out, and of course seeking for this kind of connection, and of course also the increase in all kind of spiritual therapists, as we can imagine, in therapies, like I don't know, there are tons that I still don't know what they're about, but it's the possibility to also to acknowledge on what level are we creating more empowerment and responsible human beings, or are we creating toxic relationships of dependency? So this is something that for me it's very interesting. And again, the topic for dreams, we are all well, we have infinite dreams, and the infinite the possibility for dream is endless, unlimited, but how many of those dreams do we actually put some effort and dedication to actually make them come true? And how do we believe that? And of course, anything requires a bit of effort, and so in some degree. So how are we committed to do that? How much are we committed to do that? So these are the topics that I think Saturn is going to bring for the next 3 years, and of course, this new moon brings already the tones of this, and also with Venus just being on this edge in between Pisces and Aries, of course, in my perspective, also reinforces this. And it will soon just enter the sign of Aries. And so Venus in Aries is, of course, going to be a little bit more fiery and, and of course, more passionate and more, connected to the desire, the pure desire. So it can be also a little bit selfish, but on the positive side, on the bright side, this Venus in Aries can be, well, quite brave into just pursuing what is the passions and the love, being moved by passion, and allow the steps to come from a place of love. So this, in my perspective, can be very, very positive. And Jupiter is, of course, already in Aries for a few time, and it's approaching Chiron, the wounded healer. So also in this new moon, this topics of any kind of wounds related to our strength, to our decision-making abilities. And to our autonomy, our independence, can in the next week, the week after this new moon can be can surface, so that we can see them. And of course, as Jupiter is an optimistic, it can bring us the ability to overcome that, or to find new ways of pursuing, really finding new ways of or new, how can I say this? Just new ways of perspective, of acknowledging different strengths that I couldn't see before. Or a different way of making decisions. So this can in my perspective can be very positive as well. And the only in my perspective, again, I'm an optimistic, but the only aspect that I can see here that can bring a little bit more of a reactive tone is the square in between Mercury and Uranus. So Mercury is in Aquarius, and of course Mercury in Aquarius can be very disruptive in the way that it thinks, and of course in the way that it communicates. So it brings bold ideas to communication. And sometimes, and because this is in a square with Uranus, depending on what's the intention, it can bring the rebel side, which is the need to just be different, just for the sake of being different. And if it's actually aligned with the intention to serve my community, to be at service, then those ideas can actually be very positive in bringing something better for everyone, not just for me to be acknowledged as innovative or bold or something, but for the sake of serving my community. for giving voice to my community. So this, depending on how we are resonating here, this may be, it may create a little bit more reactive arguments or discussions at least, or it can actually bring the possibility for a lot more of brainstorming, of coming together with different ideas, a bunch of people coming together with totally different ideas and trying to understand how to put them together and how to create something even better, and not just wanting to just be acknowledged by my own ideas. So this is the only thing that can bring a little bit more impulsiveness, and cautious, and more than anything, a lot more reaction in the way that I communicate. So without thinking, a bit more thoughtless. But at the same time, it's also, Mercury is also in a very good aspect, in a trine, which is very harmonious and very fluent, with Mars, which is actually in the sign that Mercury rules, which is Gemini. So this, of course, in my understanding, how this goes around is, if my ideas are aligned with the intention of serving my community and of coming together with everyone to create something better, then my actions will actually flow and be implemented in a very, very fast and agile way. But if I'm just seeking for my own recognition, then I'll be just I will just be reactive, and the actions are not going to flow. So the steps are not going to flow, because I will stumble every time that I want to put something forward. Not something forward. Apologies, but I'm to put something in motion. That's what I wanted to say. So this is again, so Mercury. Mercury in Aquarius is very fast. The mind can be very fast, faster than the mouse can actually speak. So again, be aware that you may not actually be saying the whole words for others to understand you. So be mindful of that too. Keeping up with the speed of everyone. And then we have a very, very positive aspect, in my perspective, which is the sextile in between Venus and Pluto. And a sextile is also a very harmonious aspect, but it has a quite a passive tone about it. So it needs proactivity. It needs something. It needs you to look in that direction. So, and what is that direction? Is the direction of, love being the greatest healer, basically, is the greatest medicine for everything. And I'm not speaking about love just because it's Valentine's month. I'm not speaking about Valentine's, about love or romantic love, or I'm speaking about the love for life, for being alive, and self-love, loving myself and loving this experience of life. So if my love for life and for living and for continuing experiencing life is greater than anything, there is no wound, there is no suffering, there is no loss, there is no guilt that will shrink me, or that will kill me, because I will be able to grab life, to grab this this love for life, to be able to regenerate, to alchemize, and to come out stronger. So this for me is very, very interesting. And of course we have both in the very last degree of each sign. Pluto is in the very last degree of Capricorn, and it's also going to move into Aquarius for 3 months as a sneak peek before it moves into Aquarius for good. So this is something that is it can bring something, some structures, some old rules, some old toxic patterns of authority, of giving my power away to others, and of being compliant to others' rules just for the sake of not feeling the pain or of not feeling guilty. So some topics like this can still arise for this lunation, but again, reminding ourselves that the love will heal everything. My love for life, my love for myself will heal anything. So it doesn't matter what comes to the surface. I'll be able to deal with it. So this is my perspective, of course. I'm an optimistic, and I think this can be, if I can, if this in some way can inspire you, then I'll be happy. If it doesn't, and if it doesn't resonate with you, it's all good as well. So just take what you need. And I just hope that you can take this month, this last lunation of this astrological year, to review a few things that you may have missed in December, because we had Mercury retrograding, we had Mars retrograding back then. So maybe now that every planet is moving forward, is direct, so maybe now it's a good moment to review again, and to silence again a little bit. Pisces is also related to the depth of the ocean. So we need a bit of silence to feel, to understand what we are feeling, and to bring what's unconscious to our conscious mind. So take that time also for yourself. Take things and connect with your intuition, with your sensitiveness, and allow that to heal you as well. Bye-bye, and see you in the full moon, in the last full moon of this astrological year. Bye.